Hello and welcome to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Tourism Tuesday, Berryville, Clarke County edition. So I am on the Zooms today with Martha Reynolds. Martha is the executive director at Barns of Rose Hill. I am always happy to talk with you, Martha, because you have the coolest things at the Barns. And I love that it's so diverse, from exhibitions to musical performances. You do summer reading at the Barns. There is always something unique and fun happening over there.
Yes, we aim to please everybody. So we try to check off all the boxes. Visual arts, performing arts, literary arts. We really try to capture all of it in one place. That is a big part of our mission after all, so we really do try to achieve it.
When we were talking a few months ago, when you were on the show, you mentioned that the Franklin exhibition was coming, but it is here now and it is open for the public.
It is here. Franklin, a traveling show from the Charles M. Schulz Museum and Research Center in Santa Rosa, California. So coming all the way to us from California, curated, organized by the museum. We are so delighted to collaborate with them on this. It is a great show about Franklin, who was a recurring character on the Peanuts comic strip. He was introduced in 1968, shortly after the death of Martin Luther King Jr. A teacher wrote to Charles Schulz and said, I really think that introducing a Black character into the comic strip would have a positive social impact on attitudes about race at the time. And it really did. You can see the impact of that in the exhibit. So it's a wonderful narrative and really just it's incredibly inspiring.
I think so often we overlook how something as simple as a comic strip can really sway public opinion and educate so many people when they don't necessarily even know or think they need that education.
Absolutely. And this exhibit to me really stood out because it showcases how artists can be change makers. And like you said, something as simple as a comic strip can really have an impact on people. That can be said for all art forms.
So the show opened on June 7th. I'm guessing you had a big opening.
Yes, we had an opening last week and we're just on a roll at this point. Our standard exhibition hours are noon to 3 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, but the exhibit is also open anytime we have anything going on at the Barns, which is, let's face it, pretty often. So if you just see something on our schedule, you can guarantee the gallery is going to be open at that time as well.
And this exhibition in particular is here through the end of August. So people have time.
Absolutely. Yes, through the summer. So this is a great chance to get out with the family, a great activity for kids. But of course, everybody loves peanuts. And especially with it being the 75th anniversary this year, it's a wonderful way to celebrate that.
The one thing that you do really, really well at the Barns of Rose Hill is you don't just have this exhibition and call it a day. You do other things that surround this particular exhibition. So you've got the Eric Bird Trio, you've got classes of intro to comic book making. You really try to get people to immerse themselves outside of just walking around and looking at it.
Absolutely. Like you said, the word is immersive. There's no better way to describe it. Getting people thinking and not just seeing, getting that activity involved and really pushing the boundaries on what you think of when you think of an exhibit. This is meant to be interactive. You don't just walk through and leave. We want people to experience it in a different way, which is why the Eric Bird Trio is going to come and do music of Peanuts. And this is so much more than just the standard holiday show. They're going to do a whole catalog of Vince Guaraldi's works. So we're really looking forward to that. There's several classes. We're even going to do a Peanuts paint and sip. Things like that make it a whole bunch more fun. And we hope that people feel really immersed in the whole experience.
I think the Christmas episode, the Christmas Charlie Brown episode, is what gets a lot of people thinking about the music. But there is music in every single episode, and it really is integral to the story that they tell. So I love that they're not just going to do something that's similar to the holiday stuff. They're going to really dig in to all of his work.
Yes, and like you said, A Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, has its own soundtrack. All the little stories that have been made into animated films, that they all have their own soundtracks. And so there's a lot of repertoire to pull from there. So it should be a lot of fun. And of course, we trust Eric endlessly.
And then you're doing a free screening of good old Charles Schultz. Is that a documentary about his life?
It is. It was done by American Masters, which was an affiliate of PBS, not long after his passing in the early 2000s. And it's a really interesting look at the artist as a character and how his life influenced the comic. They introduce the real Charlie Brown that influenced his writing of that character. And so you get that really in-depth portrait of the artist as a father, as a family man, and so many other things. So it's really quite interesting.
And then you're featuring a book at your book club, Schultz and Peanuts, and the author's going to be there.
Yeah, we're doing a virtual Q&A with David McKellis, who wrote the book. He's pretty well known for biographies. He did one of Eleanor Roosevelt. So he's going to zoom in with us for a little Q&A. We have copies of the book available for anybody who wants to borrow. Please, we're trying to get the whole community involved in this reading. It should be a good time. Same situation with the film. This book is a warts and all portrayal of Charles Schulz as a, like I said, a father, but also all the things that make this comic strip, that make Peanuts what it is, some of his internal struggles and things that came out in his work.
I think for those of us adults that grew up with watching the Peanuts series and all of the different movies and reading them as their original printed works, it's really cool as adults now to learn about the person who created them and understand what kinds of misgivings he may have had and why did he decide that adding Franklin was something that was important enough for him to introduce to the series. It really does just add another layer, I think, of our knowledge and appreciation for his work.
I was an art history major in college, so this is definitely that biographical approach. You want to know about the artist because it meant so much in the creation of the art. And so I think that's really going to be an interesting look at the artist and how that influenced what we see on display here at the Barnes.
And I want to remind people that when they come to see this exhibition, there's no entry fee. They don't have to pay you a fee when they come in the door at Barnes of Rose Hill, but you still have to pay for this exhibit to be available in your space for people to see. And you do that through sponsorships.
Absolutely. We've received several grants for this exhibition, and we're eternally grateful to all of our supporters. We couldn't do it without them. This one in particular, we received grant funding from the Power of Change, which is a grant program through Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. So cooperative customers can contribute. It can be $1 a day. And what the REC does is they come together through their care charity and they distribute that to a variety of nonprofits throughout the area in various grant cycles. So we benefited from that, and we also have received grant funding from the Marion Park Lewis Foundation. They specifically are really helping us with all of these accompanying programs, all of the stuff that's going to make it more experiential for everybody. And of course, we couldn't do this without Winchester Printers, who helped us fabricate the exhibit. So all the panels and things that you see, which are just exquisite, they did such a wonderful job with it. That's because of Winchester Printers. So very, very thankful to everybody who has contributed to this.
And it's important for people to realize and understand that it's not like you're flipping through a catalog and say, oh, that looks like it would be interesting. Let's bring it here. It's never that simple. It
No,
requires a village, literally, to have something
absolutely.
like this be successful.
Yes, it absolutely does. It really does. More people involved, the better these things work out.
And then coming up in September, you have my favorite people, the Shen Arts Member Exhibition. They do such a phenomenal job at those shows that you host there at Barnes.
And last time we talked about this, Janet, they didn't have a theme yet. Now they
That's
have a
right.
theme. So the theme this year is rooted, which we're really looking forward to the interpretations. And sometimes they make a little bit more sense, the interpretations. And then other times you're thinking, oh, now I have to step back and really think about what the artist was intending here, which obviously makes it a good time. So we just love them. That's going to be September, October timeframe. We're so proud of them for having recently done their own gallery space. So I would encourage everybody to check that out as well. But obviously, we love to do this annual show with Shen Arts.
I have on my calendar their ribbon cutting for the artist co op that's opening. I believe it's next week, I think.
I think I want to say it's Friday actually.
It is Friday. You're right. I just looked at my calendar. It is on Friday. I am really excited to see what that space looks like now because I got to go and do a show with them when it was still in its original form. And I was thinking, are you sure you're going to be able to make this pretty? So I cannot wait to see what it looks like.
Oh, I have full faith in them.
And then another exhibition that you have coming up later in the year in November through January is the Winchester Embroidery Guild. I didn't even know that was a thing.
It is, and this is a chapter of the National Embroidery Guild. So, really looking forward to it. We're guesstimating about 40 artists involved. Over 100 pieces are going to be on display. So, for all the fiber arts lovers out there, please mark your calendars because this is going to be a really good one.
My grandmother used to embroider blankets. I think I still have a blanket here somewhere that she did for my son when he was born. The patience and the attention to detail that goes into creating those pieces is amazing.
Absolutely. We know that there's going to be quite a variety of them there. So we're excited. So I think we've got a wonderful array of things coming up in our exhibit space, our galleries. That is just one of the great things about the Barns. Even if you're not coming out specifically to see the art, if you're coming for a show, you get to enjoy it while you're here and make the most of it.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about some of those other things because you've got the summer reading program. Bluegrass and barbecue, of course, is going to continue. You've got concerts. Can we get in the weeds on all of that in the next segment?
Sure can. That sounds great.
We are on the Zooms today with Martha Reynolds. She is the executive director at Barns of Rose Hill. It is Tourism Tuesday, Berryville, Clarke County edition. So we're going to come back and learn more about what they've got going on in just a couple of minutes. In just one day, you can help shape a stronger, more connected community. On September 19th, United Way of Northern Shenandoah Valley will lead Day of Caring, the region's largest single-day volunteer event. Over 900 volunteers will roll up their sleeves to help local nonprofits with projects that matter. Painting classrooms, repairing shelters, planting gardens, organizing food pantries. Whether you're a business looking to sponsor, a nonprofit in need of an extra set of hands, or a neighbor ready to serve, there's a place for you on Day of Caring. This is what community looks like when we come together. This is care in action. Learn how to get involved at unitedwaynsv.org/dayofcaring or email dayofcaring@unitedwaynsv.org. One day, hundreds of hands, lasting impact. Join us. Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Tourism Tuesday, Berryville, Clarke County edition. I am back on the Zooms with Martha Reynolds. She is the executive director at Barns of Rose Hill. In the first segment, we talked about some of their upcoming exhibitions and one that's going on right now, the Franklin exhibit, which I am very excited about. It is open now through the end of August. I'll put links, Martha, in the show notes page so people can go get more details about it. But as we mentioned when we first started our conversation, there is a wide range of things that you offer, from activities to concerts. You're hosting the summer reading program in partnership with the Clarke County Library.
Yes, the Handley Regional Library System puts on annually a variety of programs during the summer months, and the Clarke County Library is small. So because we're right next door and we can host a much larger audience, we love this collaboration. It brings so many people into the doors of Barns of Rose Hill, and it's the perfect opportunity with the Franklin Show on display as well. So not only are families going to enjoy a variety of fun things, Captain Curiosity into the Deep, going to come back. I know they have Mr. John and Friends going to do a little musical show for the kids. So it's a lot of fun. It brings a lot of people out. Those are every Monday in July at 11 a.m. And like I said, it's the perfect opportunity to enjoy the Franklin exhibit while people are here.
It's really great too because you're sneaking in that love of reading to the kids without them
Mhm.
really realizing it by having activities. It's not them all coming
Absolutely.
and sitting in a circle and having a book read to them. They really are engaged.
It's just like that buzzword we were talking about earlier, Janet. It's that immersive element. Really gets the kids active and thinking about different sorts of subjects from the arts to the sciences and everything in between. So it's a really nice array of things. And you feel like the kids are still getting that educational nourishment that they need in the summer months so their brains don't rot entirely.
So tell me about this Songs of Summer music bingo because that sounds really fun.
So we tried our first iteration of Music Bingo last December and we did holiday music and people loved it. It was totally unexpected and people came out and they had such a great time that we said, okay, we've got to try this again. So I thought perfect opportunity. Let's do some songs of summer. So I think now with the passing of Brian Wilson, we'll definitely be celebrating some Beach Boys tunes and a variety of others of all eras. I think that should be a good time. Of course, those are free. We like to do programs on the first Tuesday of every month that are free and just engaging for the community. In the spring and fall months, we do trivia in partnership with the Clarke County Historic Association, and those are always a blast. The last iteration in the springtime, we were getting 80 people out for our trivia nights. So
Get out.
absolutely. So people really are having a great time when they come to these things. So we try to keep that momentum going through the summer as well.
And it's really cool because the Songs of Summer is different for everybody, depending on what kind
Absolutely.
of music they like and what generation they grew up in. So it really could be for anybody and everybody.
Exactly, exactly. That's what we're going to try to achieve, a variety, a big mix of things.
And then you're still doing the bluegrass and barbecue, which are two of my husband's favorite things.
Oh, we always say like peanut butter and jelly. There's nothing that goes better together. But we've had a really great season of bluegrass and barbecue this year. So we have decided to continue it. We're going to have Chris Jones and the Night Drivers back on July 12th and Jacob Jolliffe Band back on August 8th. So those are a lot of fun. Great pickers. Chris Jones has the most incredible baritone voice I've ever heard. And Jacob Jolliffe, he plays the mandolin. And I have never seen anybody play like that. I can't wiggle my fingers that fast, Janet. And he's playing these songs, and it is something to see. And then on top of that, you get a wonderful plate of barbecue from Jordan Springs Market, who partners with us on that. So it's a fun time.
Their barbecue is so good.
It's so good. They do this giant portobello mushroom head that you can get on top of your barbecue. Oh my gosh, it's the most incredible thing, Janet.
Oh, I'm going to have to try that. I'm going to have to
You're
add that
gonna
to my
have
list.
to. You are gonna have to. It is delicious.
So many of your musical performances that you host sell out. When we're talking about this every couple of months and this person's coming and this group is coming, we're not joking when we say get your tickets early because if you wait too long, you might lose out altogether.
Absolutely, yes. Our capacity is only 175. So it's a small, intimate space. And groups like Tim O'Brien and his wife, Jan Fabricius, who are going to be here on August 15th, they're going to sell out for sure. Same story goes for John McCutcheon coming back on July 19th. Those two have sold out in the past, and those tickets just keep on selling. So I don't want to hear anybody say that I didn't warn them.
And
And
then
of course,
I feel like I've heard of Orange on the Blue Ridge. Is that Morgan?
yes, Morgan
Ah,
Morrison was part of this collaborative project. It was really conceived by Sunny Makel. It's a folk opera that documents a lot of her experiences when she was Commonwealth's attorney. And she came together with Morgan Morrison and a variety of other local artists to put this together. And what they came up with is one of the most intimate, personal portrayals, and it's beautiful. It's a musical, it's a folk opera, it's a story, and it's really magical. It's something else. Now, we did it last year, and this is the only place that it has been performed, and we'll have two more shows again this August on August 22nd and 23rd. Those are definitely gonna sell out, especially because the Saturday show coincides with the Summers End Cruise In here in Berryville. So it's going to be an awesome weekend.
I met Sunny years and years ago and a whole nother lifetime ago when she was the Commonwealth attorney because one of my best friends from high school was an attorney then, is a judge now. And I don't know that I ever would have expected her to do something like this in her retirement. So that makes it even more unique.
And these are the sorts of projects that have a home here at the Barns of Rose Hill, that someone local can conceive of something like this and bring it to fruition in such a beautiful way. That's what we're all about. And it's so wonderful to be able to see that come full circle and to fruition. It's really magical.
It also doesn't hurt that it has orange in the name, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, Janet. I didn't mention earlier, but when we got all the branding information for the Franklin exhibition, there is a Franklin orange. So I'm going to have to send you Franklin orange.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to see that. That might have to become my new brand.
See, there you go. I love it.
And when we were talking earlier about the Franklin exhibition, we were talking about how these things come at a cost to you, even if they're not at a cost to those who are coming to enjoy. You have to do a lot of fundraisers. Sponsors aren't the only ways, and grants aren't the only ways that you raise money. You have an endowment, and aren't you in the middle of some sort of challenge or
Yes,
something with that?
yes. We are in the ninth year of a 10-year endowment challenge. So our goal is to raise $100,000 annually. That is then matched by the Eugene B. Casey Foundation. It's a big goal, but the idea being that at the end of this 10-year cycle, that we will have an endowment of $2 million, which is enough to sustain this place in perpetuity. And it's really so inspiring that we have completed 8 years successfully of raising $100,000 year over year. And now we're back at it again here in the ninth year. Our deadline comes up at the end of August. So every bit counts. And we always encourage people, because this one's great because of the match. That means that if you throw in a dollar, that dollar is going twice as far. And it takes a village, as you said earlier too, Janet. Not one donor is giving us $100,000. This comes from everybody giving a little bit where they can. And that's what makes all the difference.
I can envision a place where somebody would buy tickets to one of the musical performances and say, you know what? I go to this every year and I really enjoy this, and they're not charging me enough for the value that I'm getting from it. So I'm going to double and pretend like I'm buying 2 tickets or 4 tickets if I'm only buying one or two. They can do that as well. That counts.
Absolutely. It sure does. All that makes a big difference. And people don't realize that by adding $5, $10 to a ticket purchase, that sustains us throughout the year. That keeps everything going, the cogs turning, the lights on. There's a lot of operational costs to keep the air conditioning on in our facility is expensive. All of that makes a big difference because we want to be able to support the artists who are coming in here and pay them a fair price, of course. But there's also so many things that have to be paid for around here to maintain our stellar facility. We always are thinking about that as well, and every little bit goes a long way.
I think that is the part that sometimes does get overlooked by the general public, is that
Mhm.
they understand that to have these experiences at Barnes of Rose Hill, that there is a price and a fee and an investment that's
Mhm.
required with that. But I think sometimes they forget that if you have a leaky roof or you have some sort of maintenance issue where the air condition dies or the heat dies or you need something drywall replaced, those kinds of things have to happen as well.
They sure do. They sure do. And when this space was renovated in 2011, they did a great job, but it's still a early 20th century Barnes. So things do go wrong.
Do you have a mechanism on your website for people to be able to give to go towards that endowment?
Absolutely. There is information on our Support Us page, barnesofrosehill.org/support us, and that's definitely how people can contribute.
And then you have everything that we've talked about today and more. We've only highlighted a few things. You've got a ton of other things that are also on your website.
And we are continuously announcing new programs. So, for instance, we'll be pretty soon announcing our annual Patsy Cline tribute show. So, things like that always on the horizon. So, even if you feel like, I wonder what's going on at the Barns of Rose Hill, there's probably something new to see. So, I would encourage everybody to do a regular check-in just to make sure there isn't anything they've missed.
I actually have your Facebook page set to send me a notification when you make a post, because I know
Yes.
sometimes it ends up there minutes before it makes the website. I can see it immediately.
And that's one of the reasons why we have such a robust volunteer team too now, Janet, because the volunteers get to know about the programs before the general public. So it's a little extra incentive.
That is a really good incentive.
It is. It absolutely is.
So barnesofrosehill.org, best first place to go, but then find you on Facebook, Instagram, and all the other places as
All
well.
the other places, absolutely.
Martha, thank you for taking some time to give me an update on all the cool, fun things happening at the Barnes of Rose Hill. I do appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you. I always enjoy our time together, Janet.
I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley Today, a few minutes after noon, so meet me here then.